Oh, I'm live. Hello, 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 anyone there? Hello. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, Eva, I see you there. Hello, hello. Let's just give a few seconds for people to join us. Hi, Eva. Hi, everybody. I can see people joining us. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming on live with us. My name is 𝒂𝒂𝒔. I must introduce myself first. And I am the owner of My Fruitful Fingers. And today we're having a live chat about sewing. So in case you don't already know, September is sewing month. I didn't know this before. It's my first time of celebrating sewing month. And if you know me well, anything sewing, I'm in. So I just thought I would invite a few of my friends who also love sewing like I do. And let's just have a chat about sewing. Hello, Ola, Senator Ola. Hello, Dr. Bola. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. So Eva is online. Eva is my first guest, and we're both really excited to get on with our chat this evening. So Eva, if you request to join, I think that's the way you do it. It's my first time going live by myself, so but I'm sure we can figure this out somehow. So I think you would need to request Eva. And it should come up, I think. Right. Okay. Yeah, I think I have clicked it, so you should come up any minute from now. Please bear with us, everyone.
Hello.
Ooh, yeah. Hello. Hi, Eva. We got here in the end. Oh, I'm really excited. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you. I'm so glad we managed to figure this out.
No, I know. You know, I've never done this. I've never done this live thing, but yeah, we're here, so it works.
And thank
you. It works.
By the way, thank you so much for.
Oh, thank you for agreeing to come. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Ola, for that comment. Thank you very much. Oh, welcome. Oh, I spot your headband there. Ooh, lovely. Nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice. Right. Well, just because I know you're really busy, so we're going to get right into it. Everyone, this is Eva. Eva is going to introduce herself in a minute. I've known Eva for a few years, since 2018. It's not that long, yeah. We both participated in a fashion show for a charity called Pamudzi in Portsmouth, and we've been friends since then, and it's been really fun. So I won't try and introduce you. I'll let you introduce yourself. So please, Eva, tell our lovely audience about you.
Hi, I'll keep it brief. Thank you for everyone who is so promptly on time.
Yeah.
I live in Portsmouth, like Flo here, and I make clothes out of other clothes. I started adopting more sustainable practices a few years ago, and I'm trying to explore new ways of doing things while sewing. And I think tonight that's kind of what we're going to be talking about. But yeah, I just love creating fashion pieces, and that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, and I mean, your pieces are so beautiful. I remember the first time I knew about you from Jamie of Radiant told me about you the first time, even before I met you. And I went on your website and I was like, what? Look at those beautiful pieces. Like, you're so creative. And I know we're coming into that, and I can see a little bit of your creative stuff in the background. I mean, the way you put colors together, designs, patterns, it just really amazes me. You're so creative. Well done. And thank you for sharing about yourself with us. So my next question will be about sewing, because obviously this is sewing month. We want to talk about sewing. And you know, I found out today that sewing month started in America in 1982 by the president at the time. Yeah, because he realized how important home sewing was, and then he set a day aside for it. So that, I found that quite interesting. So yeah, pardon?
That is very interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize.
It is interesting. It is interesting. Yeah. So we're going into the real chat about sewing. So can you please tell us, why sewing? How did you get into sewing?
So I was a bit of a late bloomer, I think. You know, sometimes people start really early. I did have a sewing machine when I was a little kid, but it was one of those that you just turn and it didn't really work very well. So I didn't really sew anything on it, it just didn't work. And then, so I left it for a bit, and I decided to do something when I was a teenager. I started drawing a lot. And I wanted to make the ideas that were in my head a reality. And I knew that the only way to do this is to learn to sew.
Wow.
So I actually started when I went to university just before my degree. I would have been about 19 or 20. So that's a while ago now. And I didn't have a sewing machine. A friend of mine lent me her sewing machine that she didn't use, and I didn't even have a desk to put it on. I had to figure it out by myself. That was live before YouTube. It was quite scary time, but I managed to make this like jacket for a project, which I now think about it, I don't know how I did it, honestly. I had to put lots of books underneath the machine. I was sewing on the floor. It was just crazy time. So that's, yeah, it was late, but since then I've worked a lot on it. I think it's important to practice. And, you know, I still get good and bad days. It's a bit frustrating when you get a bad day, you might relate. Or maybe you always have good days, I don't know.
Of course not. Of course not. There are lots of, days, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I got into it. I kind of had to, once I got into university, I really had to push myself because it was very intensive. Fashion courses are quite intensive, and there's a lot of practical work to do. So you just have to keep doing it.
Yeah. Oh, lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for that. And welcome to everyone that has joined us so far. Hamis Fashion, I see you there, sis. Welcome. Yeah, we see your MFM brand. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Please, if you have any questions for Eva, please put it in the comments and we will come to them as we go along. Thank you very much, everyone. So back to our sewing chat, Eva. What's your favorite thing about sewing? So what do you like most? What do you like most about sewing?
Actually, the thing that I like about sewing is the fact that it enables me to create things that in my head and put them into fruition. So it's the process that lets me see through ideas from initial concept to, wow, that looks great. I'm so happy that this worked. Oh, it didn't work, whatever. You know, sometimes you have to do things differently. But that's what I like the fact that it lets me have the results that I want. And without it, I could not do that. And yeah, it allows me to be creative.
Yeah. I mean, that's really amazing. I think one of the things for me as well is exactly what you said. Being able to think about something and then bring it to life. Like, it's really amazing. It's so cool, isn't it? It's really nice. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Eva. So when I was reading through your website, your bio, about your fashion, I read that your fashion is sustainable. So you make sustainable, it's called sustainable fashion. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about that, because I think there needs to be a little bit more awareness about sustainable fashion, especially in as the world is going on. We're all trying to do everything to like help the planet and all of those kind of things. So do you mind sharing with us a little bit of what does that mean to the ladies? Yeah,
it was probably a simpler question a few years ago. It's become a bit of a complex one because of advertising, marketing, you know, media generally. I always think of, there was a survey done a couple of years ago. I think it was in 2018, maybe 2017. It was at the Hong Kong Sustainability Summit, and there was a survey that they conducted like across the world, really, in the West and in the East. And what people thought about what sustainable fashion to them was very different. Because in the East, it was about production process, not using things that harmful to the environment. And in the West, it's more about making your clothes last longer, and getting clothes that actually last and that are well made, vintage. And I think we do a lot with the fact that a lot of the production has been moved from the West, and so people don't have that connection. And unfortunately, this also means that brands in the West can make claims that are not really true, or they might be partly true. So sustainability, what it isn't, I can tell you, what it isn't is claiming a single thing and then saying that you are a sustainable brand. And I thought about this quite a lot in the past few weeks because I hadn't put that on my website, but I have done now. For me, for what I do, I've got a few different things that I feel are sustainable, and I have looked at those on my website. I do use existing materials and clothing as, you know, a starting point these days, which means that I can keep a lot of the seams that are already there, which means there's less energy used whilst making the clothes. If I am introducing new seams, I'm trying to use seams that are quite strong rather than really, you know, quickly done. And I also think about the thread. I use thread that recycled polyester thread from recycled plastic bottles, and that's a strong thread, which is important. And I don't use animal products. My packaging is plastic free. It's all these things that for me, what I can do right now. But I do hope that in future I could make it 100% sustainable. No. It's just a time. In terms of sewing, because we're talking about sewing, if you don't mind sharing a few sort of tips on sustainable sewing that I feel you know, hopefully will help people if you do sewing people. I think that if you do sewing and you make your own clothes, that's already a really great thing to do. Not only because you know where things, you know, how thing was made, but also because at the end of the day, you get connected to the garment that you've made. You take ownership. There's no way you're going to sew that away. Maybe there's a little way, but you probably won't. I like to remake things lots of times, so in my world, there's no way. The other thing is, though, on the other hand, it really depends where you get your materials from, because you might go to a shop and spend £1 on polycotton, that's cotton and polyester mix, and that you don't know what the shipping was like, where it came from, what exactly is in that cotton, what kind of chemicals were used, etc. And also, it's buying a new resource, which, you know, is not you know, it's these days using different resources is important. So maybe it's thinking about how else can I source material? Can I source material that maybe is more linen, for example, because linen is an incredibly sustainable material. I like to buy things from charity shops, like curtains, sheets, you know, when I'm trying to. I like using half-scale mannequin when I'm playing around with things because one, I can keep the little trials in a little holder, and two, it takes some more arithmetic.
Yeah.
And also in Portsmouth, I don't know whether many people from the south that have joined us, but water is very, very hard, and there's lots of limescale build-up. And if you're using an iron, I found the hard way. I've lost an iron to limescale, even though I entered it, you know. And recently another iron sort of gave up on me a little bit, but I managed to get it fixed. Via the Repair Cafe, which is a local initiative I'm part of, by the way. So if you have things that need mending. So boil the water in the kettle before you put it in your iron. That's my suggestion to make your iron last longer.
All right. Okay.
Sorry, overload. Sustainability.
Yeah, but I think everything you've said makes sense. And what I was thinking as you were talking is that with sustainability, it's one step at a time. So many times we look at it as this big word, like how do I even, what do I even need to do to be sustainable? But it's little things like you said, like your packaging, where you source your fabric and all these kind of things. Little things like that go a long way. And I'm already thinking of myself because I use plastic packaging, but yeah, I'm going to change now. I have to change because
you just can't.
Yeah.
And there you could use packaging that looks like plastic, but it's technically a polymer that you could put in the if you have compost. That's another thing I've tried before, which also works. I just need that jump that you talked about.
I'll definitely look into that. Because just thinking of it now, little things can add up to like a big step towards sustainability. So thank you very much for sharing that. So I want to ask you about, before I carry on, let me just say hello again to everyone that is with us. I don't know if my screen is showing me everything I need to see because I've never done this. So if you see any comments on your side that I miss, please point them out because I don't know. I don't know I don't know if I clicked all the right things before I came on live. And if I miss your comments, please pardon me. This is my first time of doing this. I'll definitely get better next time. If you have any questions for Eva or for myself, please put them in the chat and we will come to them as we go along. Thank you everyone for being here and for staying this long. Okay, so my next question for you, Eva, is about your creativity. So at the beginning, I was saying about your outfit. And guys, if you haven't seen Eva's website, her Instagram, go and have a look and you will understand what I mean by the creativity. It's like nothing you've ever seen. That's just the simple definition of it. How do you come about these things? What inspires your creativity? Do you just wake up and it just appears, or what?
No, I'm going to have a process. University, it's funny, like people, you could do fashion without going to university. You could go to a studio and do that. But I would go, if I had to go back in time, I'd still go because it taught me a lot of little bits that I could do. Yeah. So it depends. Different things take different approach. In terms of inspiration, what are we asking about more, or the inspiration things?
Like how do you come about your designs?
So I'll tell you a story. Okay, so inspiration-wise, I seem to like things that are not obviously attractive, and they're overlooked, you know. So when it started when I was doing my final collection at university, we could do a collection on anything. It was sky's the limit, and I had no idea what I was gonna do. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to go to London and go to the museums and have a look at a few museums and see what might inspire me? And I ended up at the Hunterian Museum. Do you know what that is? The Hunterian Museum. It's the Royal Surgeons Museum. So there's lots of things in jars, and I do like things in jars. I was very good at biology at school, and that's probably where it came.
Yeah.
And I looked at jars all afternoon. I wasn't allowed to take any photographs, so I had to draw. And some of the drawings really stayed with me. So we were supposed to pitch our ideas after. I thought, right, I'm going to do a collection on animal internal organs, which I wouldn't do now, but at the time it just worked really well. And anyway, when we were pitching with the other girls in my course, a lot of people said, I'm looking at flowers, or, you know, I'm looking at all these pretty things. And I got up and I said, I'm making this thing that will be inspired by a whale vaginal wall, which sounds really
okay.
But it actually, I created a really beautiful design out of it. It took weeks.
Right. Okay.
And that has stayed with me in a way. My last collection, well, this collection was based on shipwrecks and sea wrecks. Because even though they can look a real mess, there's certain details that I think are quite interesting. Is the things that, it's not the big picture, it's taking the detail and thinking, what does that remind me of, and have a play of association. And my brand, Underdog, that I've been doing for the last few years, is inspired by the sea. But the thing is, I have developed that connection because I've lived here for long enough now. I'm not originally from a seaside town. There's no way I could not live by the sea now. But sometimes I just think, okay, what else shall I look into? Well, sometimes I look at rocks, sometimes I look at rubbish that's on the beach, you know, formations that, you know, nature's not perfect, but in a sense that makes it perfect. You know, well, when it helps, like with rock, for example, you know, erosion, that's still a process, and it creates interesting things. And sometimes I just work on the stand and see where it's going to take me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I really like that. And I like how what you said towards the end, like, nature is not perfect, but you can see beautiful things in the imperfection, in the broken piece of stone or whatever that doesn't look perfect. Is how what you bring out of it that matters. And I really like how that translates to your fashion. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that. Thank you everyone for being here. We're still having a chat. Please put your comment in the chat box. Even if it's just to say hello, just say anything to us. Just say anything to us. Is there any comment there on your side that I'm not seeing? I haven't missed anything, have I?
No.
No? Okay.
Which is great.
Just people joining. Okay, cool. Good. Okay, thank you everyone. We'll just carry on, and then hopefully somebody will ask a question or put a comment in the chat. All right. So I know there are different, you know, categories of people on the chat today, and even those that will be watching the replay. Some people are, you know, they look at sewing from the hobby side of things, maybe just home sewing. Some from the business side of things as well. I just wanted you to speak to people who are just starting to or considering learning how to sew or doing it as a business. What would you say from your experience? What advice would you give?
So they're almost two different questions. Because when it comes to sewing, I think a lot of people could get quite intimidated before they've even started. And I totally get that. I mean, like I said earlier, I had no idea what I was doing when I started, you know. It was lots of guesswork. But it's just keep practicing and don't give up. Just do it. What could happen? What's the worst that could happen, really? I mean, a seam may not be in a straight line. It doesn't really matter. You just do the next one and you see your progress. I think it's similar with business, I guess. I'm thinking again of, I don't know why, but I'm reflecting quite a lot on my time at university about a decade ago now. A lot of people that start to do fashion do it because they really love it. There were people, and I've worked with fashion students as well after graduation, that do it because they think they'll be easy. And I think a lot of people these days start things because they think it'll be easy. And that applies to business, that applies to sewing. And actually, like anything else, when you really delve into detail, it really isn't. But if you are committed to it, then it really doesn't matter. It helps, it enables you to build a bit of grit, a bit of thicker skin. So go all in is my advice, but don't have illusions. You have to really work at it. It's not easy. And, you know, if you know why you're doing something and it really is very meaningful to you, you will last a long time, no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. And you're so right. What I've found is the more you do it, the better you get at doing it. And that's how it's been. And it's worked for many people that I know as well. So don't worry too much about when you start and the seams are not straight. Because one day your seams will be perfect. Well, if you keep, you know, practicing and doing it. Thank you very much for sharing that. Well, right. Okay, thank you. We've got a question. I can't see it, so please read it.
Ever, is there a time when you created a piece you're not pleased with? Lots of times. And what actions do you take if that's the case? Do you know, I did a video on YouTube was it last year I did it? I'm not sure. Sometimes I do videos, I don't these days as much, but that one was, I started doing something and it didn't go my way. And I videoed the process. I just improvise. And I see, so in this particular case, what it was is I wanted to create a jumpsuit out of two mobile shirts. But once I started cutting into things, things didn't sit right. And I thought, okay, so what else can I do? What can I pick or cut into or stitch differently to maybe alter the direction of my design? Sometimes what happens is that you end up having a much better result than what you originally wanted, because that is part of the design process. I never think of something that didn't go right as something that's gone badly. I think of it as something that's led me to making a decision that, you know, made that design better later. There's a reason why something, for example, if I'm not pleased with something, there's definitely a reason for it. And addressing that means that I could then make it better. And I like to keep my trials as well, because, you know, I wouldn't just throw stuff. Sometimes I wear them. In that particular case, what I did in the end was I created a top, and I used the bit that I was going to put for the skirt as sleeve bar, that ruched up here. And actually I wear it quite a lot and I really like it. And I think it's a better design than my initial thought. But I mean, it's frustrating when you first do it, for sure. I think you kind of think, oh my god, I thought that would work really well. And then it's a matter of taking a step back and just thinking, okay, what can we do with this? Let's learn from this. And, you know, when you make a mistake, if we're talking about mistakes, then you're likely to not make it again. So it's actually not a bad thing. I hope that answers the question.
I think so. I mean, from my point of view, I don't know if, please let us know if that answers your question. But I definitely agree with you. Like, definitely there'll be times that things don't go right. I mean, I've had that many times. But taking a step back and looking, because in that moment, especially if it doesn't belong to you what you're making, you can panic and be like, no, what have I done? But if you take a step back and try and unpick, even first of all in your mind, unpick the steps and try and retrace, many times you can kind of bring it back, and it comes out really nice. It's like you said, it's an opportunity to do even better. That's what I find as well. Thank you for that question. I hope that answers your question. I don't know who asked the question, but thank you for that.
Dr. Bowler.
Pardon?
Dr.
I'm not seeing the questions, you know. Oh, right. I think. All right. Do you know? Yeah, I've seen. Pardon me, I'm not used to this at all. Now I can see the questions, yeah, and I can see her saying thank you. Right, that's fine. Thank you very much. All right, we'll carry on. I mean, the other question kind of links me to my next question, which is the fact that, I mean, I know as a creative person that you don't always feel creative. There are times that you don't. I don't know about you, Eva. There are times that I don't feel up to it. I try to think of an idea and I just can't think of it. What do you do to motivate yourself? So at those times, you know, for whatever reason, you just can't find your sojo, as they call it. you can't find it in you to create anything, and you just feel at a dead end. What do you do to motivate yourself and bring yourself back on track?
That's gonna sound so weird. I take a shower.
That's great.
Because, you know, at the moment, well, the past, I don't know, decade at least, more and more we get TV, we've got our phones, we've got podcasts. My partner listens to podcasts all the time, and he doesn't always use his, ear things, so it's redundant. So anyway, when I take a shower, and I like to, that's not a very sustainable thing to do, actually, but I like long showers. It makes me think because it's quiet and, you know, and also I like to use, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but there's a company here in Portsmouth called the South Sea Bathing Hut, and they do an amazing scrub with lavender. And oh my god,
I won't mind to know about that. Yeah.
Vanilla and lavender, but quite citrusy, and also it feels like a bit of aromatherapy almost. It just makes me come up with all these ideas. Yeah. Even when I don't feel like I don't have to think about it, it just happens. So that's one thing. And then if it's like a weird time of the day when I'm a bit weird, I might go for a little walk around the park, which we're lucky to have a park nearby, because that does refresh your mind a little bit, and seeing something with fresh eyes, it does help.
Yeah. Oh, great. Thank you. I mean, yeah, you can please share that. You know, anything will help. Like, things that smell nice help me as well. Like lavender, or I like wax melts a lot. So I have different. I have different scents for different moods. So depending on how I feel. I like for weird reason. I didn't think I would like the strawberry flavor, but I do really like it. And the mint. I like the mint one as well. I don't know why. It doesn't sound like me, but weirdly, I like those two. I like those two, yeah. So Oh, great. Thank you, everyone. We still have 8 people here with us, which is super, super great. Thank you for staying with us. Again, if you have any questions for Eva or for myself, please put it in the comments and we will answer before we go. We're getting near the end, actually. So my next question will be, can you share whether a tool or a tip, just anything in your sewing space that makes your life easier? Oh, so somebody said in the comment, Tammy says pumpkin spice. Ooh, I'll try that one. Never tried that one. Thank you for that. I'm going to try that one. Pumpkin spice. Ah, lovely. Thank you. Thanks, Tammy.
Sewing wise, I mean, you know, everyone's space is different, isn't it? So people have different ways of doing things. But something that I found really useful, and I saw that I went to London to St. Martin's College on this course a few years ago, and they did that, and I adopted that tip that I'm going to share with you now. When you have your sewing machine, like the top bit of the sewing machine, and you wrap fabric that's fairly thick, you could then, when sewing and you take your pins out, you could then just put them on that piece of fabric. Even if you don't have your pin cushion handy, you know, it's the piece of fabric that's wrapped around the machine will act as that. And I know that some people don't take their pins out, But to give another tip, which is more of a service tip, I suppose, take them out. Because it damages the pin and it will break your needle, and if you forgot to buy needles, this has happened to me before, then you have to wait.
That happens to me as well.
Yeah, that does. How do we, let me just have a look.
Can you see the questions? I can.
Do you know, funnily enough, a lot of people look at Pinterest for ideas, and I do have a Pinterest account with one follower because I never keep that account. I never talk about that account. But I do like to say things on there, but they're usually vintage things and little details that I never really look at. I see it, I save it, and then I don't look at it. I don't know why. So it's interesting. Pinterest is such a great, in terms of social media inspiration for details, it's such a great tool, but for some reason I just don't. I think I just look at, kind of touching upon what I was saying earlier, everyday objects. And in this case, because I do so much of the my nautical theme that I've chosen to do, when I go to the beach, I love the beach. It always makes me feel connected and happy and relaxed. And there's so many things on the beach that I could just grab and look at. And it could be that it's a shape of something. It could be that it's some formation inside it, for example. And then what I do is maybe I'll draw it, maybe I'll take a picture of it, and then I print that out and then have the drawings from that. It's a bit of a game of association sometimes. Things. Oh, this reminds me of this. Oh, maybe this seashell looks a bit like, it could be like a sleeve. That's an interesting shape. How can I recreate that in reality? So I don't really, even though I look at social media, I don't really buy a lot of magazines to be honest these days, but I used to. Really comes from a place of I'm seeing the subject, I want to do something about this because it's interesting, and then I link that with trends as well, because you can find trends very easily these days. You just need to use Google. You could use trend research and forecasting websites, and then think about, okay, so these things are coming up in the next year and a half, 2 years. How can I incorporate what I'm thinking about with one of these trends if we are going to be slaves of trends? Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. So, yeah. There are not lots of it. I didn't, that YouTube channel, I kind of stopped doing it, but the videos are still there. I did actually put together a little series of like coming up with a fashion collection from scratch, and I did a few pieces. One of them didn't go the way I wanted it, by the way. The question that we had earlier, I wasn't 100% happy with it. I still have it, and I'll probably cut into something else when the time comes. So, do I follow trends? I follow trends. I definitely do me, but I'm very aware if something is happening. I don't have copyright issues now, because I don't look at other brands to copy them. What I do look at is if I know that, okay, I know, for example, this past year was a lot about big sleeves, big collars as well. So I came up with my own, collar idea that is, I haven't seen anywhere else. In fact, I'll show you because I've got a towel here.
Yeah, you can show us. You can show us, please.
But like, this is made from
this is my favorite. I really like this one.
And it just happened because I was playing around thinking, okay, so how can I do a zero waste design, which this is almost there. I just have to like get rid of the bulk, but that will go into something else later. So I do know, but I do think, okay, what does that mean to me? A big collar, what does it mean to me? What could I do with that? And how can I mix it with where my inspirations come from. So it's like picking different things and merging them. Yeah, I'd say I don't think what I do would necessarily be found in other brands, but you know, obviously the internet is a vast thing, you know. So
yeah. Oh, lovely. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. I hope that answers your question, ladies. Yeah, there's another question there. Have you ever had an original design that you then found clothes
someone else's
on someone?
No, because I haven't looked for it.
Yeah,
I just haven't looked for it. So in my most recent work, I think it's, I want to say more commercial. I think you could add it to more different outfits, because I think it's important. You know how people buy clothes and for Instagram they take a picture and then they don't wear it. I'd never understand that. I don't think I've ever met anyone who actually does that. And if you do that, I'm really sorry, you know, but how? Because mix and match. And so so I guess in terms of, you know, like when I make dresses, okay, so a shirt dress is a shirt dress, but then when you add a little detail that I really honestly haven't seen anywhere else. But if people do, I'm open to people coming to me and saying, look, I've seen this and it does remind me of what you've done here. I have had people saying they've seen something that made them think of me, but it was completely different stuff. It's just because I use a lot of striped shirt material in blue and white and sometimes red. I guess that's, you know, you can find those materials in a lot of places, and I guess that's
Oh, thank you everyone. I mean, there's a lot of thank yous in the comments. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't missed anything out, but I think Diligent Hand Fabric, she put a comment earlier that went all the way up. Now I don't know how to get back. Okay, I'm trying to scroll back. I think she was talking about when we were talking about the smellies, and so she says I don't like smelly. She's quite put off quickly without natural air, so she likes natural air. But I think she likes Netflix. Netflix does it for her. Netflix.
Oh yes, some days that's
a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Netflix. Yeah, it's always handy. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you everyone. We're getting near the end. I can't believe that it's we've been here for 45 minutes. I'm really enjoying this, and thank you everyone for staying with us. I hope you're enjoying it as well, as much as we are. So before we go, I think I have one more question or two more questions, but I want us to play a quick game I've made up this game and I've called it This or That, the Sewing Edition. Okay? So I've got some tools here that I'm going to hold up, and you're going to tell us which one do you prefer. So the tools that are used interchangeably.
Okay.
So you tell us which one you use, or if you don't use any of the two, what do you use instead? So the title is This, That, and the Other.
Okay.
So the other, if it's none of the two, then you tell us which one it is. So first up, these two. So I've got the rotary cutter and the scissors. Which do you use any of these two? Which one is it, or maybe none of the two?
Yeah, 100% the scissors, 1000% the scissors. However, in the past, I have had projects working with neoprene, not for what I do now, and neoprene and, you know, materials that are stretchy, definitely on the roller, you know, but I just like the scissors.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. Yeah, I have this, but I've never really used it. I just bought it just because. I've never used it. I never use it. Okay. Thank you for that. Next question. Chalk. Do you use this type of chalk, or maybe something else?
So that's one of the things that I need to work on in future, because I'm not a fan of chalk that much, and I should be because it's the best um, unless I work with material that's quite thick, like wool. But the
Right.
thing is, I haven't worked with wool in years, and I don't
Yeah.
use wool these days. I use fabric pens that are erasable. Now the problem is that they're great, they're really great because they disappear and you could have really nice lines, it's great. But from a sustainability point of view, hands up, they're plastic and they're not refillable, and that's a problem. So it's something, and sometimes they also use soy wax on darker materials because you can still see the marking that they're doing.
Okay, I've never used that. Okay. Great, thank you. I've learned a lot of things from you today. Thank you for sharing that. And finally, well, I had two more, but I think somebody has helped me with the other one. So let's just go for the unpicker. So this unpicker or this one?
The red one.
The red one, yeah, that's me as well. This one, I think it's too big. Who made this? I'm so sorry. It's too big. Yeah, I like the small one as well. Thank you. That's the end of the game. Yay! Thank you, Eva. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our game. I mean, if you use any of these tools, let us know which one you prefer, or if you use something totally different. I think there is a question. Can you?
Both. Yeah. It depends. It depends on the design, really. At the moment, I'm working on my own sort of idea of having circular design sort of developed. And with that, it's kind of hands-free, but also because I'm working with a lot of really plain patterns, like rectangles, that are in different ways. I like complex pattern cutting. I've got a lot of, some Japanese pattern cutting books that I really love. I've got books with really complex patterns that I still haven't used, but I look forward to using when I get a chance one day. I love pattern cutting, but because I focus on upcycling more these days, unless it's just something that's, when I say patchwork, I don't mean it in a traditional sense, then I would make a pattern. But sometimes it's a matter of working on the stand. So both. It's good to know both. Yeah. And both can be fun in different ways as well, I think.
Yeah. I think it's nice to be able to do the two, because sometimes, yeah, there's a bit of flexibility in, I mean, I like patterns so much. Yeah. But yeah, I try and do hands-free every now and again. Especially if I'm making something for myself, I can do anything if it's mine. So, yeah. Thank you. I hope that answers your question, Hermes Fashion. Thank you for that question. So we're getting near the end, and I'm aware that a number of people have joined us as we have progressed on the chat. So before we go, I would like you to tell everyone what your business actually is. So what your service is. So I know you make bespoke, lovely items. I know you teach people how to create stuff as well. Can you tell us what you do and how people can find you?
Thank you. It's been lovely, by the way. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Thank you for being here.
Through the wonders of technology and, okay, so I have got a brand, Underdog, which is focused on sustainable style. That's also coastal style. So at the moment, I'm using things like men's shirts and men's utility trousers, actually, to make women's clothes, because I specialized in women's fashion. Maybe one day I could conquer the men's wear world, but that's the time. And besides Underdog, I also I started making earrings. Actually, I'm not wearing any tonight. I don't know why. I don't want it to go over.
Can you show us them? Are they closed? Are they here?
Sorry, they're not actually, but they're all,
No,
on
okay,
my feed.
okay,
Yeah, sorry.
okay.
What they do is, because I've started thinking about the offcuts that I create, even
Yeah,
though I'm progressively trying to find design, or create designs rather, that are, maybe not necessarily zero waste, but hopefully one day zero waste and circular. The offcuts still exist at the moment for most things, and so I use those to make a button earrings in
yeah,
nautical, nautical styles. And I think do you know, I actually really like those. They're great, and I wear them. I made some for me, and they're stocked in a couple of shops, hopefully in a few more soon. The other thing that I do is, yes, I do help people learn how to change their clothes if they want to.
yeah,
And yes, I'll do that in a minute. And we are planning some locally to put for workshops with the Makers Guild. They're coming up soon, live ones. Otherwise, I do have a beginners course online people could take. It's quite thorough though. So, you know, it's like what I said earlier about business and sewing. Like, you think it's gonna be easy, but you just need to do it and just get some more.
yeah. I understand that. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. There's a question. I'm aware of time. I know Instagram will kick us out when it's 1 hour, but I think we can still take the question. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Costing's a difficult one. I actually had to go to a course to figure out my costings, because when I started, and that's me hands up, I used to, because I really love what I do, I didn't think about the fact that actually I was paying myself nothing. When I started, I'd literally, I mean, when I say nothing, I mean, you know, very, 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 very little. For me, it's taking into account things like the time that you're willing to pay someone, because I want to have people that I will be paying. So you're prepared to pay someone, and then you need to do your markup, because that's how retail works, you know. And if you're doing wholesale, like I'm doing with the earrings as well at the moment, you also need a markup to accommodate that.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could feel free to contact me via DM, and I could send you a couple of videos. I'll find the ones that I've looked at most recently. The course that I did, actually, I think you did that as well, Flo, didn't you? The Radiant course, which was in 2018, I think I did mine. And they were like shocked because of what I was, my creative brain was not really thinking about the costing as well as like thought I was. And they were shocked because I was basically giving things away almost, so that I learned the hard way, so and I know it's difficult, it's difficult for people when you do fashion on a small scale. Is very different to when you do fashion when you when you have big retailers. I'm not going to name because I don't want to advertise them, but they've made life for smaller designers really difficult, not only because they rip off their designs, but also because the pricing, you just can't beat that pricing, because the thing is, to be that pricing, I need to exploit someone, which I'm not going to do.
There's no way.
And the problem is that consumers look at the brand pricing, and the comparisons then it results in having less customers than you might want, because customers have different idea of what is sustainable to them, how much they're prepared to pay, but also how much they can afford at a time. I get that. I also understand that, especially after the year that we've just had, a year and a half now. It is hard, but it's important to do your pricing in a way that means you respect the labor that you do, and also I do comply with the laws of retail, because I kind of have to for like a long-term business. I hope that answers the question. You know,
yeah, if you can please, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, how if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how do they?
Oh, cool, yeah.
Is it Instagram? Is it your website?
Yeah, I mean, you could contact. I've got a contact form on the website, somewhere at the bottom of the website, which is www.
What's your website? Yeah,
okay. www.𝒂𝒂.com.
Okay.
I'm very easy to find. Just Google 𝒂𝒂. I'm everywhere. I'm 𝒂𝒂 Fashion Design on Facebook, on Instagram, obviously. 𝒂𝒂. Or you could Google underdog. It will still come up as one of the first things.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you.
All right. Okay, I'm trying to type that in the.
The shortest. Let me just answer the question.
Is that it? Yeah. Yeah.
The shortest time or date you have spent on a design. Do you know what? When I started, thank you, Doug. When I started Underdog in 2018, it was a bit off the cuff because very quickly I went to this tabletop sale with loads of clothes that people had given up. They were piled up and falling on the floor. And anyway, I picked up some shirts and I'm going to start cutting into those. So actually, when my very first designs for Underdog took the least time. They actually meant maybe one a day, just not having anything in my head in the morning and just playing on the stand, just without having. But my concept was dazzle ships. World War I dazzle ships. They're also stripy. That's
yeah.
And so I didn't have any more beyond that. So yeah, I'd say about a day is the shortest, but the longest would be 8 weeks to perfect some. That was ages ago, and you know, it was very complex stuff.
Yeah. I mean, some projects can be, they can take forever. Yeah, especially when there are lots of panels and you have to stitch and stitch.
Panel.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Wow. Honestly, the hour has gone super quick. I know. It's been so much fun. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for staying with us till near the end when we're rounding up. It's really amazing. And it's my first one. It's your first live, isn't it? Is it your first Instagram live?
No, it's not. But normally I talk by myself and it's really boring. Well, so I'm talking to you. Time's just gone, you know? It's great.
I know, yeah. I mean, I've joined my sister's live before, but I haven't done a live by myself before. So thank you. Thank you for coming on. And thank you, everyone, for being here. It's really, really exciting. Thank you so much. So we are about to round up. I'm just wondering if you have anything else to say before we allow everyone to go and enjoy the rest of their evening. And I know you're really busy as well, so
literally, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for everyone who came. Thank you for listening to me rambling. Thank you so much. I'm reading the comments and I'm saying thank you to all the comments as well. Thank you, Flo, for initiating this and organizing it and advertising it. And I love your passion, you know, about what you do. I think it's really amazing. And thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, Temi. Thank you, everyone. It's been really, really fun, and thank you for agreeing to come. You know, it means a lot to me, and I'm sure we'll do this again. We have to do this again. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Fabulous Funky. Thank you, MC Tunde Bella. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If I missed your name, please pardon me. Thank you, Diligent Hands Fabrics. Thank you, everybody. We are going to allow you to go, but please don't forget that we have another session tomorrow with Diligent Hand Fabric. She's here and she's with me at 12 o'clock tomorrow. And we're going to have a chat like this with her. So please join us and it will be fun. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of it. Eva, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I'll catch up with you very soon, definitely. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Bye, everyone.